Join us today as we explore the darkest reaches of the internet. Here are 8 things you didn't know about the deep web. Today's video was done in collaboration with crypto coin consultants. More on that later. Number 8. Tor. Known as the Onion Router from its original project name, Tor is free software that allows users to communicate on the internet anonymously. This is achieved by directing traffic through a network of over 7,000 relays that hide the user and their location from traffic analysis and network surveillance. Much like the layers of an onion, Tor implements layered data encryption in its communication protocol. At each step, the browser connects to one relay, which in turn passes the data to the next, and so on. This makes data very hard to trace. Tor's main objective is to protect the privacy of its users and to give them the freedom of conducting confidential communication and ensuring that their internet activities are not being monitored. The software was developed by the Tor Project Inc., a non-profit research and education organization founded by Nick Mathewson, Roger Dingledine, and 5 others. The bulk of their funding came from the United States government. The Tor browser, which is a modified and extremely secure version of Mozilla Firefox, is the project's flagship. For the time being, attacks against Tor fall in the realm of academic research, and the software's developers reportedly welcome any challenge. Number 7. Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created by an unknown person or group of people working under the name Satoshi Nakamoto, and it was released in 2009 as open source software. It's a form of digital currency and a payment system that people all over the world can use to make transactions over the internet. It's also a type of cryptocurrency, which means that the money exchange can't be linked to a real identity if the person wants to remain anonymous. Bitcoin is a first decentralized form of currency, meaning that the system doesn't have any administrators or essential repository. The user has a Bitcoin address, which is an identifier composed of 26 to 35 alphanumeric characters, and it represents a possible destination of a Bitcoin payment. Sites or users need to use a global database known as a blockchain, which keeps track of who has how much money at all times. The blockchain is a record of all transactions that have ever been made in the Bitcoin network that also keeps track of newly generated Bitcoin. This means that all users know each other's Bitcoin value. The process of generating Bitcoins is called mining. The math behind generating a Bitcoin is very complicated and must be calculated by machines with powerful processors. The people that operate these machines are called miners. They use special software to solve math problems and are rewarded with Bitcoins in exchange. Miners need to supply proof of their work and approve new network transactions in a new group called a block. This adds the security of the blockchain. Attackers would need to modify all subsequent blocks in order for the modification to a single block to be accepted, meaning they would have to outpace all other miners. The difficulty of the problem increases based on the speed of decryption, so that a single block is decrypted every 10 minutes. Number 6. Size. The term deep web was coined by computer scientist Michael K. Bergman in 2001. The deep web is often placed opposite the surface web or the visible web. According to some sources, on June 14, 2015, Google's index of the surface web consisted of around 14.5 billion pages. The deep web is believed to be several orders of magnitude larger than the visible web and growing constantly at a rate that cannot be quantified. Michael K. Bergman compared browsing on the internet to dragging a net across the surface of the ocean. Even if you end up catching a lot, there is still so much information in the deep. Number 5. Malware. If you plan to casually explore the deep web, you should know that malware can be easily obtained. It may be uploaded onto your computer and a keylogger may be installed without your knowledge. This means that what you type on your keyboard is being monitored, thus compromising all your passwords. This spells disaster not just for your Twitter or Facebook accounts, but for more serious information as well, such as bank account numbers, credit card numbers, or even personal information such as your full name and address also becomes vulnerable. Number 4. Dark web. The The dark web is not the same as the deep web, but instead only represents a small part of it. The deep web refers to any site that can't be accessed through traditional search engines, while the dark web represents a part of the deep web that has been hidden intentionally. The most famous content on the dark web can be found in the Tor network and accessed through Tor browsers. There seems to be no limit what can be found on the dark web. Content includes numerous scams, child pornography, cannibal sites, the sexualized torture and killing of animals, porn that would be banned anywhere else, or weapons or the services of hackers and hitmen. The dark web has reportedly also been used by terrorist organizations, government officials, revolutionary activists, and journalists in countries with heavy censorship. Despite the bad reputation that the dark web might often get, it is also frequented by people that aren't involved in criminal activity of any sort, or by those who want their communication on the internet to remain private. Number 3. The Silk Road. Named after an ancient network of trade routes, the deep web Silk Road was an online black market and the first modern darknet market. This means that it could only be accessed with specific configurations, authorization, or software. Online users were able to browse it anonymously through Tor hidden services without the fear that somebody was monitoring their traffic. After a development process of 6 months, the Silk Road was launched in February 2011 and became known as a platform for selling a wide variety of illegal drugs. In October 2013, Ross William Ulbricht, the person suspected of being the Silk Road's founder under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts, was arrested by the FBI. He was charged with money laundering, computer hacking, and conspiracy to traffic narcotics and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His net worth at the time of his arrest was estimated at $28.5 million. Transactions that took place on the Silk Road were conducted with bitcoins. The total revenue generated by the market when it was shut down was converted and placed at $1.2 billion. Other darknet markets followed the model put in place by the Silk Road, and a Silk Road 2.0 was put up, but it too was ultimately shut down in November 2014. Number 2. Cerca 3301. Cerca 3301 was a name attributed to a secret organization that on 6 occasions published a series of complex puzzles with the purpose of recruiting highly intelligent individuals. Even though the puzzles were posted on different platforms, it was claimed that most of the clues could be found on the deep web. The puzzles focused on steganography, cryptography, and data security. Clues were spread over many physical locations around the world. They also spanned different communication media such as telephone, internet, original music, physical paper signs, digital images, or pages from unpublished cryptic books. The Washington Post listed it as one of the internet's eeriest unsolved mysteries and called it the most elaborate and mysterious puzzle of the internet age. Many of those who attempted to crack the code claimed that it surpassed the capacity of their best decoding software. Despite some claims that Cerca 3301 was actually a virtual reality game, no individual or company has taken credit for it or tried to monetize it, and none of the individuals that had solved the puzzle have ever revealed their identities. The first puzzle was posted in 2012, and according to one person who completed it, Cerca then asked them questions about their support of online freedom and privacy, information freedom, and rejection of censorship. If their answers proved to be satisfactory, they were invited to a private forum and given a project to further the ideals of the organization. There have been claims that the puzzles are actually a recruitment tool for the NSA, CIA, MI6, or a cyber mercenary group. Others claim that Cerca 3301 is a cult or religion. The true purpose of their recruitment puzzles remains a mystery. Number 1. Marianas Web. Named after Marianas Trench, the deepest point in the ocean, Marianas Web is an umbrella term used in reference to what lies in the deepest part of the internet. It allegedly contains some of humanity's darkest secrets and archives gathered from the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world. Some believe that Marianas Web is actually an artificial intelligence entity. Others claim that it's the place where you'll find the most horrific things available on the deep web. These are nightmare-inducing experiences that will shake you to your very core, the most traumatic, gory, and terrifying games, videos, and imagery that the deep web has to offer. It is hard to separate fact from fiction or truth from creepypasta, but surely if such a place does exist, Few have been the same after accessing it. It wasn't until Ross Ulbricht launched the Silk Road in 2011 that Bitcoin took a bigger leap forward in terms of applicability. For those who don't know, the Silk Road was a dark web marketplace to purchase anything and everything illegal you could think of. Drugs, prostitutes, child pornography,